Good afternoon. My name is Juan Arias.
My name is Jonathan Spangler.
My name is Philip Wynn.
My name is Kanaya Patrick, and today we will be presenting all of the surrounding aspects of gambling addiction. The following quote is quoted up on the board to show the simplicity of just how easy it is to have a gambling addiction. It is only a gambling addiction when you lose. Stop before it's too late.
Our research question is, to what degree does a habit of gambling reflect negative effects on people during the 21st century?
So here we have a piece of evidence from Adaption. It says subjects with ADHD and pathological gambling symptoms had lower levels of self-esteem, greater emotional instability, and predisposition for anxiety disorders, and difficulties in service and self-discipline. This supports the claim by demonstrating that the psychological impact of gambling, particularly with individuals with ADHD, contributes to the negative impact of mental health outcomes, including challenges in relationships. And this chart shows that a distribution of activities based on how risky it is, and then it shows how gambling has like the most risky impact.
According to Barron, Staten, and Wilson in 2002, Goose and Morse 2005, they stated that one area that has drawn considerable attention is the charge that the casinos cause local patrons to borrow money to gamble. Thereby, they're participating in financial crisis and leading them to increased bankruptcy amongst them. Basically, a man can go in the casino and have a $100 bill. He can lose that in about a blink of an eye. He will go to the bank, grab a loan of money, and probably lose it again. He will then be in debt, and that's what causes the bankruptcy. As you can see in the picture here, for example, a person that has a gambling problem in California spends around $46,000 a year, and 20 million Americans struggle with this addiction every single year, and it has caused 15 times higher suicide rates just by gambling. And all of these people leave their fate off to slot machines, which 74% of gamblers use.
Social impacts. The mental health crisis. COPD is a disorder that has recently been discovered to be connected to various other stemming mind deteriorating disorders. The worsening effects do affect the families and loved ones. This is because research and studies have shown that although the patient receives treatment, many medical specialists do suggest that the family also receive treatment. The reason for this is basically, it can be compared to what's most recent, like the COVID global outspread. This is because families have to deal with loved ones being in the hospital, breaching treatment, and other said financial instabilities. When a patient does breach treatment, which is the solitary process of treatment, which is highly common in a lot of patients because they cannot fight the urges, this makes families develop anxious and stressful and depression-like behaviors. This then requires families to now introduce more money in towards medication towards themselves. Precautions taken on social platforms are to try and brand certain gambling and obsessive content, which is hard because we are now in a digital-based lifetime.
From the Journal of Behavioral Addiction, the psychological characteristics such as emotional dysregulation and impulsivity included in this research were identified as important ethologically for both substances and behavioral addictions, including gambling disorders. To add on to that, emotional dysregulation is a mental health symptom that involves the trouble of being able to control one's emotions and how a person acts on these emotions. This relates negatively to how someone responds to another person. This picture from SpringerLink shows how an emotion regulations, someone has emotion regulation difficulty, it can affect two problem gambling, but most of the time it reflects the gambling beliefs. But because of the gambler's belief, they believe that they can win big or get more money by continuing to gamble, but that also leads to another problem with gambling.
Resolution. Finally, to further conclude this presentation, we have addressed to you all the extremities and liabilities of a gambling addiction, as well as how it requires a multi-phased approach encompassing awareness, education, and support services. By raising awareness to not only be educated on the topic, but to understand it as well as taking a step further to implement responsible gambling measures and providing accessible resources for those in need. We can collectively work towards minimizing the impact of gambling, addiction, and promoting healthier and informed gaming culture. Thank you.
All right, come together. You don't come up, just slide together. You back up, you guys are too close. All right. Philip, we'll start with you and work way across. Philip, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the topic that you guys identified?
I think Kaya's point of view, because it showed like how gambling affects how people treat each other in relationships between each other.
All right, Naya? What's an example of an argument from one of your peers' reports you decided not to use, and then why didn't you use it?
I think for me it would probably be Philip. He had some things on psychosis, schizophrenia, and a lot of stemming stuff, but I felt like I would be deferring or going away from my topic, and I was trying to keep it more family and social aspect, but I do think that was a very good source, and I think that we could, if we come together, it would like help our argument together.
Okay. Slim Shady. What's an example from one of your peers? Oh, sorry, I already asked that one. What is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about the research you conducted?
So it makes me feel as if there are more multiple things to cause someone's effects of how they react to other people because of gambling and the addiction that they have with that.
All right. And save the best for last. Juan, if you had a fifth member of your team, what's a perspective that they could have brought to the situation that would have contributed to the project?
I think we could have done political view because there's some casinos I think are banned in Orlando, and I think that's because of the political view, such as there's other states that have, or other cities that don't ban casinos.